Peace and good evening. I'd like to welcome you back into another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player with another New York Giants video, and this is regarding the signing of Kenny Golladay by the New York Giants for $18 million, and why, in hindsight, I think it was not a smart decision. It's nothing against Kenny Golladay. I think he's a 1,200-yard receiver, or has the potential to be a 1,200-yard receiver. But this is more about the moronic decisions made by David Gettleman. Again, um, the reason I say that is because if the need to sign what is probably a second tier wide receiver in Kenny Galladay, again, he's played. He had good numbers in 2019, but I think he had to opt out in part to COVID in 2018, and due to injury in 2018. In 2020 he had to opt out due to COVID, and partially due to a hip injury, if I remember correctly. But the year before that, I think he put up 1,100 and something yards, close to 1,200. But that's a great performance. But you got to remember, that's in a dome, with a decent quarterback throwing to him in Matt Stafford. Playing in the New York wind turbine, you could probably expect with Daniel Jones throwing to him, maybe you get 1,000-yard performance out of Galladay. But that's not even my main point of contention. My main point of contention is that in last year's draft, um, if you pretty much knew that you were gonna have the departure of some of your receivers, um, due to cutting them this year, and you didn't have a real set group within your receiving core. Why not take some of your draft capital in 2020 and draft some receivers? But they went the opposite route. Like they drafted 19 linebackers, from the third round down. They drafted like they only had one. They only had two picks in the first and second round because they trade, and then they didn't have a pick until the late third round. But then to go back and draft another lineman in the late third round when they already had their a lineman who was more likely than not intended to start, because you at that point you probably I'm not sure if Solder opted out at that point, but didn't end up starting anyway in spite of Solder sitting out of the season in 2020. But the lineman that they drafted in the third round didn't start anyway. So you pretty much drafted a lineman who wasn't gonna start, and then you go on to draft a cornerback and 1,000 linebackers from the fourth round onward. It was just stupid decisions by Gettleman again. Gettleman is a moron. And a lot of Giants fans have this affinity for him, like he knows what he's doing. Gettleman is a dick. Like, period. I don't know how this guy gets a pass. Jerry Reese was a better had a better idea of running this team than what Gettleman did. I'm sorry to say that. And I not that I thought anything of Jerry Reese, but what has Gettleman just did it, at least Jerry Reese could pull one player out of the hat per draft, but the thing is that he would mess up every other player in the draft, and took one lineman per every three drafts, in spite of our line sucking. But it's not like Gettleman made our line much better. Solder was trash from the day he got here. Solder was probably worse than Eric Flowers from the moment he got to the Giants. Solder was Eric Flowers without the obvious penalties, but a little bit worse as far as his performance goes. And we paid him top money to be a lineman with the Giants. What else do we have? Zeitler. I mean, that's it. Our line still sucks. It's not like he made a big investment in on the line with the besides Will Hernandez like in the draft. I mean, who took a step back anyway. I mean, like with the way he was hyping things up with the stupid Hog Molly quote, you would have anticipated that he was taking a lineman or a good serviceable lineman every draft, and that our line would be like one of the best in the league. Our line like is a step up from the Jets line, who probably have the worst line in the entire league. And the sad thing is that we actually paid for our line with investments like Solder and Zeitler. You know, the Giants are with Gettleman at the helm are sorry, and we know we it's and again Golladay might turn out to be good. I mean, but you're using $18 million out of the cap to spend on Golladay, using 21 million to spend on that bum Leonard Williams. That's a good chunk of the cap right there. So and Galloway, we're taking him on for 4 years at $18 million a year. That's right below what the top receivers make in the league. And honestly, I didn't even see anybody contending for Galladay's services. Who was bidding up Galladay? You probably could have got Galladay for like 15 million for 3 or 4 years. Nobody. I ain't hear of anybody bidding on Galladay. And like the rumor was that he wanted to come to the Giants, and we pay 18 million. Like we're racing to get that done. I mean, and if that's so important that we're wasting that much money on one free agent, wouldn't it behoove you like to be adding to that position in the draft, every draft, if that's the case? I mean, if you came here with saying all this stuff about the offensive line and building in the trenches, wouldn't it behoove you to be investing in the offensive line? Like when you came here, it was known that the Giants had one of the worst offensive lines. Our line still sucks. The Giants, hate to say it, are in the worst position any team could be in, and that's like not right at the threshold of like whether you suck or whether you're competing. And I think next year, I mean, very likely that in spite of all these moves that we made, which may seem like we made a lot of moves, but we just spent a lot of money. In spite of all that, we may end up with 6 wins. And that's the worst position for a team to be in. We may be in a position next year, very likely, that we're gonna say that Daniel Jones might not be the answer. As much as I want him to be the answer, we may have to come to the realization that he's not the answer. But and then what? Then go into the draft with the 12th pick overall, like, and try to find your quarterback for the future. In spite of all the other holes you got to fill. I mean, the thing is too that a lot of the people that Gettleman has acquired, like as far as like at the cornerback position, somewhat safety, aren't terrible, but it's just that he makes the wrong move at the wrong time, and like these are the ones that are gonna cost us. Because Leonard Williams in the open market would not have gotten 16 million, more than $16 million, more likely than not. Nobody was gonna bid on no Leonard Williams. They should have just cut Leonard Williams. You had enough to replace Leonard Williams, even without Tomlinson. You know, but it's where we're at, man. Like and honestly, I mean, like, could they have not gotten a Fulmer? I mean, Fulmer signed for like 12 million bucks, I think, like with Miami for 1 year. You go, yeah, and I mean, Galladay might be the best receiver in this free agent class, but somebody that might be the best free agent receiver in this class, which I mean, It's not like, even if he is the best free agent receiver, which I mean that's up for debate, but somebody who might be the best free agent receiver doesn't merit getting more than the 13 million per year that the Jets committed to Davis, or the 12 or 11 million that the Dolphins committed to Fulmer. I mean, like, nobody, like, the Giants completely blew Golladay out of the water, and he's not a player that even merits that. The Giants blew Leonard Williams out the water, and Leonard Williams is a just above average defensive tackle, at or just above average at his position, in a position that doesn't even matter that much. I mean, it makes no sense. Gettleman sucks. Like, get it through your head, Giants fans. The Giants are not the Yankees. Um, and just because you have a crossover Yankees Giants fans doesn't mean that the Giants are this this organization that just oozes stability. I mean, like, it looks like John Mara's like losing his marbles a little bit too. Like, he's checked out. He used to be at the draft cheering on, like, fourth round picks. He got like a far off, like, stare, look, like, for the last like 5 years. Like, we're just in a bad position as Giants, man. Like, I like where the Jets are far better than where the Giants are. Let me know what you guys think. And not that the Jets are like in a great position too. The Jets still suck, but I think they have a lot more promise to them than the Giants do. But let me know what you guys think. With that, I'm out.